Good morning. There we go. Like so. So I'll let that out for a moment. I want to see if the VFS will assist me in extracting this out to a function, which it will not. Bummer. All right. That's okay. It's just that this file is too big. Okay. Data plane basically has two halves to it, sending DB mutations and receiving them. I want to move this. Let's move that. What do we call the two different sides for sending and receiving data? Could call it send and receive. Send's a bit overloaded, at least in Rustland. Import and export. DX and RX. As long as we have something, we can always rename it later. TX, Vector, RX. There we go. Git move. DB changes.rs into, that's on the TX side. Create a FIFO and we create a listener. This is on the TX side. What is DB? Convert, not found out of range. Database sync. Sync database. This is on the RX side. Status. It's kind of both. I'll leave it where it is. Settings. Okay. It goes in the RX side. I'm glad we're doing this. Okay. A little more clear now. Let's get some yak shaving on. Okay. Rx gets this. LifeBow, I believe it goes into TX. DB changes goes into here, while DB goes into there. These two stay. Wonder what did that do for us? Hmm. That's not where I would have put that. Okay. Oops. This isn't a git move anymore. Source art. Okay, that might be tricky for me to type. Source rx slash mod.rs. Okay. It's a little better. Now let's go back to where we were and data plane. We were looking at DB changes. In this case, this was great. Okay. Now, whenever we receive a mutation event, we want to do some extraction, basically set up our wall log so that it's at the right point. So this here, extracting to some function. At this point, we received a DB mutation, and we want to be able to get the wall log for the mutation at a specific point in that wall log's um, file. Something like this. We don't really have our own error type here. Or do we? We do. Good. Ah, why isn't this on wall files? It has the wall logs, has everything it needs to know. Batch arms have incompatible types. Really? why. So in this case, it was wall files, which was a wall files object. Not too creative there, Halsey. That's okay. Hi, Dev. Thank you for the follow. What will this return? An option to an option. Well, a result to an option. Okay. And this. Oh, I see. So in this case, where we received a none, because we were inside of a loop. Essentially, we'll try again. Wall log equals all files dot wall log for mutation. Give me mutation. Let's give this a match. If we get a none, we continue. Extract into function. Oh, happy day. Okay. Mhm. Let's see. Path, import that. Error. Hey, Sam. Happy Wednesday. Good morning. Uh, Morning, Dong. Let's see. You said start video of SQLite replication is video. Um, Not sure what you meant. Okay, we'll get back to this error. Reader. Ooh. Yeah, that's a Tokyo buff reader. And this here is SQLite wall file header. Does that need to be available outside? I don't know. Let's see. All right. Now for the borrow error. So we're doing a mutable borrow on this get wall log, right? And we're attempting to do this twice. Why? Because there's a case where the actual wall log might be renamed as we are looking for it. We could move this retry logic up, because basically we are doing that just one level higher. Let's do that. That way we remove some of the duplication. So nuts and db changes here. Just gonna drop that there. Essentially, when we get a none, we want to try again. Now, so the first time we attempt that, getting this should be fine. That's cheap. All right. And then if it works the second time, we just do that. So if we get the okay none here, so we unwrap the errors, we match the result. We will attempt to do the same thing again. And if this doesn't work, then it really is an error. We've got, let's see, wouldn't we have the same error? In this case, we want to stop the system, because if we're not able to replicate the data, we need to shut it down as quickly as possible. Get to that. And yes, error is gone. We should probably have our own error. Read wall frame. We need to map these errors to something of our own. Let's do this one with context. What would we say here? It's kind of a send transaction failure. Why would read frame fail? Send transaction snafu. That should have been source. Okay, let's patch up the other few errors. And what's going on here? Mutation handler. So if we fail to get the wall log for a mutation, this, yeah, if it's an actual error, we bail. With context, and we maybe something like that. Ah, this one. Yes. Now this one is interesting. This one is more of a let's get to generate that variant. All right. Now what are our warnings? Just some unused variables. Great. Okay. Let's patch up some of the other imports. Data plane RxDB. Okay. Interesting that we're using from crate. Changes. DB mutation does not implement display. It's a DB mutation. Now, in this case, we want to decompose self and put all those values in there. Let's get input files, all three. Wow. Start position and length. Okay. There we go. Okay. So we've got just those unused values. Well, to resolve. Okay. Come back to that. Okay. Where is tests? Tests is not there. What are we looking for? We're looking for server events, test archive. Oh, we're missing a module. DB tests, yes. So RxDB needs a module called tests. Did I put that in the right spot? Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. So we are in the tests, right? And we're looking for test connection manager. Super. Okay. I just had it coming in from the wrong spot. Maybe creation error. Never created. Fascinating. If we comment that out. No error. Type task stop reason is more private. Hmm. That we'll leave at the moment. This one, not sure what to do with that one. I'm going to leave it for a bit. You're impressed, confused, and lost all at one emotion. I went through 20 pages and never moved your mouse. No, not a coder, by the way. Um, welcome. Welcome, Novik. How are you? So what brings you to the software and game development? What do we call this category on Twitch? Let's close that. Okay, this one, fine. Closing out some files. This is the one we want to take care of, this send transaction. So we want that. In this area here, it's our current task. Just did a little bit of refactoring. So update it. We have to update the database checksum. Some of this goes into the other location, though. Museum. Is there a term I don't understand in this? Is there a typo? I walked in. All right. I walked into an animal supply store to buy some buys. I asked to buy a dozen of them, and the clerk handed, oh, bees. Buy some bees. I asked, buy some. I'm going to start over. I walked into an animal supply store, buy some bees. I asked to buy a dozen of them, and the clerk handed me 13. I said that was too many. He replied, it's a freebie. We actually keep bees. They only do so well where I am. The springs are hard on them because of the fluctuation, the temperature. Sometimes they get confused in the spring and become active too early. And if they get active too early, they die. Last few springs there haven't been good for bee population. Yeah. All right. So at this point, we're trying to create a message, a database transaction message that we can send. You know what I should do real quick? Just real quick. Should cut this. I'll just comment it for the moment. Have I done radio? I have not done radio. I did work in a drive-through. That was the voice that you would approach. It was, what was it? Long ago, I worked at a Carl's Jr. You buy them for gardening stuff. Yes. You have slash had a job working at a botanical garden, and you see the place with bees to help with pollination. That's cool. You would order a burger for me, but could I get you to, could I upsell to you? Would you like a fry or a drink to go along with that burger? How about a slice of cheesecake or a cookie? Yeah, at the moment, we have 4 colonies. I have not checked on them yet this spring. It's always sad. I don't like checking on them in the spring because they're probably all dead. I'm seeing like no activity. Carl's Jr. has cheesecake? They did when I worked there. Yep, exact same menu. Yep. I worked there when I was what's 15 and a half, 16. You would prefer therapy for me though. Except I'm a terrible therapist. Oh yeah, and I was playing with Claude, the command line Claude thing. Most of this data plane stuff. Yeah, keep that. That. Wow, a lot too much has changed. You wonder what the excited version of my voice sounds like. Yeah, it depends. I kind of have my I don't know what to call it, broadcast voice, which is what I'm doing here. And then, the playing Deep Rock Galactic and, screaming at the enemies and hollering to my wife that, like, they killed me all. Maintaining the gardens was your job after you left the city. That's awesome. What is this? Oh, I want that. I don't know yet. Okay, I'm not gonna do those. Yeah, I can't wait to get tomatoes going again. Yeah, idle hands. Places around here don't really do a lot over winter. A lot of the gardening jobs are very seasonal around here. You can't even be employed over winter. Change. I don't need. Oh, the logging. Oh, yes, that is a nice change. So we won't take this one. We will take this one here. There it's mostly deadheading and building, maintaining. Trail maintenance. Oh, that's cool. That sounds pretty cool. 30 square acres. Hmm, it's good size. Yeah, I don't want to commit to that stuff. Mm. They should definitely have, like in the canonical, what do they call it? Git commit stuff. Should definitely have like a yak shave portion for this. Oh, that's cool. Weddings and reunions or whatever. What happened there? Nice. What kind of concerts? Is it mostly instrumental? Yeah. Sure. Mm, that's nice. That sounds really nice. Let's see. I was going to attempt. Let's see that readme. So I need an Iggy server. Was that supposed to CD somewhere? Dev Iggy. There we go. Okay, that's up and running. Just run. Oh yeah. Yeah, no, not doing that. Should really look at this before starting it. I switched to Just. Um, I've been using it for a little bit of my build system, really. Um, instead of a make file, really. It's pretty much all I treat it as. So I want to make sure that I have the build the VFS and the example app before I run Overmind. I had this in Overmind and it didn't work very well. Cargo aliasing. Yeah, I like that too. I wasn't sure if I could really have dependencies though. I wanted to have multiple things depend on build, for example. And I like the visibility of the just file. The cargo aliases are in the hidden directory, and I fear that eventually somebody else that might be working on the project with me wouldn't see it. More than Mars. Ah, gotcha, gotcha. Yep. Aliasing cargo commands and chaining. Makes sense. Yeah, I don't want this stuff anymore. Yes. So it turns out that the void pointer thing that was happening, um, it was happening because the call to function control, um, it didn't like the SQLite DB that I was passing in, that pointer that I was passing in. Turns out that depending on on how the threads are initialized, there might not have been a thread local set up for the thread. So I ended up here trying to basically have two things. One is a thread local, and the other one is the first SQLite 3DB. So this is the first pointer that was ever kind of initialized. We just store it there, and then if a thread tries to get access to its thread local and it doesn't exist, then we'll just clone the quote unquote global one, right? The primary one. Um, I don't like the solution. I did some more digging, and I think that the real solution is not for me to use the function control logic, but for the me to build out a bit of code that interacts with the shared memory. Um, and at the moment, I don't know, I was feeling a little burnt out on that, so I tossed it into a bug I'm going to come back to. So I'm going to work on a little bit of shiny stuff because the VFS works really, really well as long as it's not multi-process, which is everything I'm building. Um, so I was going to build this out and then come back, make the shared memory piece. I think that the shared memory piece will actually come back into the picture, um, because as we're building this piece here, once the data comes over here, there's a little piece that I still have to do over here where I need to update the DBs. And at this point, I need to have a lot more um, code surrounding the shared memory um, that SQLite manages. So I think at this point, once I have that, it'll actually help this side here. Where is it? Here. So at the moment, I just don't feel like building out the shared memory piece and chasing that bug for another 2 weeks. I want to make a little bit more progress. So I was actually going to get rid of this here. I don't think it's the right solution. Yep, MVP usually does stand for minimum rather than maximum. So true. So true. Yeah, and when the stakeholders, aka my wife, um, ask about the progress, and I explained that I've been working on a bug for the past 2 weeks. She's like, "Oh, and will fixing that get my website done any sooner?" And she says that to me, and then I have to sheepishly look back and say, "Well, no, it won't. But it's a bug, and I have to fix it." Actually, this would never happen. This is all just in my mind, right? Like one of those moments in Scrubs. Yeah, I don't know if you watch that TV show. Yeah, board meeting. I changed one line of code over the last 2 weeks. What? It was a very complicated line. Yes. I'm going to up here. Need to get rid of some of this borrowed cell. See, I actually want this there. Um, no, that's I don't want. Can I get rid of that whole hunk? I can, right? Depending on the flow control, you could shove that DB pointer into the user data pointer. Yeah, except it's not always there when the file's opened. So it would have to be done later. Uh, or you might be referring to the reverb state, which is global. And yes, we could push it there. Yeah. Yep. The PAP data. Yeah. That's the reverb object. Okay. I thought I got rid of this. Shift D, firm. Yes. What's happening here? Oh, standard out and standard error. Rename those to be more correct. This all goes away. Is there anything below this? Nope, good. Opaque queuing. I like that word though. It's like storing things in a queue, but you don't know what it is. Um, Fix rug pull, not committing that. Okay. Goes away. What's this? Store that. I don't want the rest of that. And this is where we were trying to catch the short read and fix it. Okay, it's gone. I saw a sign that had 3 words on it. Pints, liters, gallons. I think it speaks volumes. Awesome. All right, now these. I like the little bits here. See a little bit more. What's coming up? All right. Hmm. I think I'm going to leave that. Anything else? Phase two. No, this goes away. Okay. I think that's it. Just double checking. I'm probably going to have to fix the imports. Uh, that, and no, and the logging. Okay. Reload. Okay. Starts up. All right. Lovely. Speaking of bees, getting stung 8 times might lead to adverse reactions. being stung 9 times is fine. Why? Hmm. I don't know why. Because that's B9. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's great. Coming back to data plane, send transaction. Supposed to get a transaction and send it. At the moment, we have a transaction ID that's 0, pages that are not being filled in, and a possible commit record. We need to loop through these. Adding to the transaction. This isn't set up right. So I want to chunk a transaction into, let's say, 10 pages. And for small databases, this will be fine. But for large databases and when many pages get updated, this would need we would need to stream smaller chunks instead of just having one giant packet come across the wire. So I think we need to do this more than once. So we get the wall frame. We need the first one. First one is used for setting the transaction ID. What was it? Let's see. The transaction ID was going to be the combination of the salts and the integer value. It's supposed to be 64 bit, and should increment. Why is it an integer and just not those values? Let's change that. Yeah, this. Based on salt1, salt2, and iChange. Why are we not just passing salt1, salt2, and iChange? That way, the archive server can do whatever it wants with it. If your canoe ever flips over, you can use it as a hat because it's capsized. Uh, oh, I don't have Discord up today. Hmm. All right. Well, um, Salt 1 and Salt 2. What are they? U32s? Are these six? No, these aren't 16s. How was I putting transaction ID plus those in the same? Hmm, that's better. I think iChange is actually a larger value. Transaction ID. Oh, iChange comes from the wall log. This guy here, view size. I don't like that. I understand why it is, but it doesn't work very well for network protocols. All right, let's get the iChange value at least. Wall log, read frame. Oh, I think what I was planning on doing was having the like iChange value, right, followed by the wall log salt one because it's incremental. Right? It keeps incrementing. So these two values that increment basically guarantees that you'll have some sort of ordering. Basically have it either way though. Do salt one first. That's right. I think it was salt one. I changed. And salt two maybe after that. Because this identifies the database. Well, that plus salt one and salt two. That identifies the database. And then within the database, change. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. Basically what I had described before. Now, this is a value that we're keeping track of. I don't think it needs to be U size. It could be U32, because this is the, let's document this. Oh, oh, I didn't know that. Let's try that. Oh, well, this is kind of interesting. Wait, delegate trait? What is this? Sort fields alphabetically. I didn't see it. Hmm, it's all right. So I had been in the struct. So I was here. I just saw this delegate trait spew. I don't know. Maybe I'll use it too. Mm, whole line. Oh, whole line. Couldn't matter. Okay, we have that change. Ah, well, my time has come. I have to leave. It's time to go do the whole working thing. I'm gonna go do that. Y'all have a great day. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye bye.